Flight boss, bitch. You know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Antares Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God's duties and motherfucking responsibilities. Goddamn. And right now we're talking about Mercury and Sagittarius. Now, Mercury falls here. So Mercury is asleep. Mercury is asleep. It falls here. You know what I'm saying? Well, I like to say it's kind of fall, but then it's at work also. So it's sleep at work. Because, see, Mercury rules Gemini. And then it rules Virgo also. So, but we want to say maybe it's exalted in Virgo, so it falls in Pisces. So I'm leaning more towards that it's at work in Sagittarius. It's away, because at home is Gemini. But, see, by Mercury being the ruler, but how it's like that, I like to say it's probably sleep at work. So it's at work, but and it's sleep. It's on break. So what happens here is Mercury and Sagittarius people form of communication has to have meaning behind it. Like, if whatever they're talking about don't mean something, you're not gonna know what the fuck they talking about. So a lot of Mercury and Sagittarius people comes up with, they're good at creating slogans, creating their thing to say, that they say all the time, and people know them for saying. You know what I'm saying? Because the lack of communication skills, it gets replaced with meaningful words and the original sigils and the energy behind the words, like bitch. Now, a Mercury and Gemini person will sit here and can explain to you what a bitch is. And then they may tell you that it's a female dog. Because that's a technical term for it. And Gemini, Mercury and Gemini is the communication. Now, the word bitch to a Mercury and Sagittarius is, they're going to understand that it means a female dog. But they're going to argue the fact that no one uses it for a female dog anymore. We only use it to call females that. So you didn't even have to tell me that. So this is the polar opposite that comes in between Gemini and Sagittarius, especially with the Mercuries. Because Gemini is going to be sitting here like, dog, I understand what we use bitch for, but the original term for it, I'm just letting you know, is for a female dog. You know what I'm saying? If we look it up in the dictionary, that's that. The Sagittarius Sagittarius Mercury person is going to argue the fact that, I get it. I understand that it's in the dictionary as a female dog, but we still use the word bitch for females. So I don't know why you're trying to teach me something where some shit I already know, but I'm just letting you know what's the energy behind the word. 9 times out of 10, you can catch a Mercury and Sagittarius person saying that. I'm talking about the energy and what we use it for. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's how it plays out with the polar opposite. So they talking about the same thing, but Sagittarius is Mercury is bent on the explanation of it and the meaning behind it, and the Mercury and Gemini person is just on the technical term of it. You know what I'm saying? And on the practical term. So you need both of these signs. All zodiacs need both of these signs. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? Then the Jupiter comes here and it goes to extremes when it comes to putting meanings and information behind things and behind sigils and shit like that. Now, these people like to communicate their goals. They like to communicate what they have done. And they like to always push, they like always push light. Like they communicate what everyone should be doing. They don't like to communicate what people not doing. You know what I'm saying? Because to them, that's a form of, communicating unnecessary things. Like what people not doing. Like, they like to be more goal oriented and like to talk about what can we do instead of talking about the excuses of why we can't do it. You know what I'm saying? And they don't like to talk to people like that. You know what I'm saying? Because they look at that as a form of a trap or an engagement. So they don't like to communicate with people that's down all the time or whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? They don't like to communicate with people who talk about pointless things. You know what I'm saying? Whatever someone talking about something, the Mercury and Sagittarius person has to know what you mean by it. They don't. You could be saying a lot of shit. They're going in one ear and out the other. But if you're not telling them what you mean by it, they don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then this is why sometimes they come across to say things at the wrong time. They may say a joke when everybody being serious. Somebody might just got killed, and everybody in the room is grieving, and they may be the person who starts smirking and laughing. And then people look at them like, why you smirking and laughing? And it's not that they're laughing at the person get killed, even though it may come across that way, but it's just when energies and moods and they're around this energy that's so down, it's just something that sparked the nerve system for them to not be so down. And the reason why they may smirk or laugh or may say a joke when everybody else is grieving is because instead of looking at the situation when someone died, they're looking at the room of everybody grieving, and it becomes funny to them that this is something that humans do. Because see, Sagittarius is already out the box kind of sign. So when it comes to things, to reality, which all fire signs burn through reality, and it burns anything it touches back to its natural form. So that's why fire signs are so bent on the truth. You know what I'm saying? Water signs consume the truth. It consumes over the object and brings the object into another realm, which is the water. The fire burns out the object into its original form back to the etheric realm. So you know what I'm saying? So this is why fire kind of can't get attached to things in a feeling way, and water get attached to things in a feeling way. These are the two filler signs, the water and the fire. So when you have Mercury and Sagittarius, it's moving real fast, but it's burning everything it's touching. So it may like I said, Mercury is closer to the sun. So anytime you overthink something, you burn yourself out from it. So this is why they go to extremes to put meanings behind a lot of things, because the lack of Mercury falls here and is asleep, and is at work. You know what I'm saying? Somebody trying to wake it up. So when it's receiving information, it may burn itself out sometimes trying to figure out the reason behind all the information that the moon is receiving. This is how the Mercury communicates and deals with and communicate with the self and to others. It's sitting here trying to figure out all these things and at a fast pace, and it's trying to sit there, it overthinks and burns itself out. You know what I'm saying? So Mercury and Sagittarius people have to learn their own philosophy and their own way of understanding something. Because if they don't, and they're going by other people's opinions and other people's ways of doing it, then they're gonna burn themselves out and not have no religion, or not have no philosophy, or not have nothing. You know what I'm saying? And that's not good for Mercury and Sagittarius person, because these people are very smart, and they know that they have a life path. They just have to find a life path to jump on and go through with it. But all Sagittarius, even Sun, Moon, and Rising, know that they're here for a reason. It's deep down in them. They know that. So if you're a Sagittarius, if it's hard for you to feel like you're here for a reason, and you got Sagittarius in you, that's that Sagittarius pushing you to try to understand the reason. But it's always going to come to that conclusion. You know what I'm saying? Some signs don't give a fuck about the reason if they're here or not. They just living day to day. You know what I'm saying? Get up every day, one day at a time. You may hear a person who don't give a fuck about like shit like that say shit like that. Nigga, I just take it one day at a time, which is nothing wrong with that too. You know what I'm saying? But the Mercury Sagittarius people, y'all have to have an illusion of the future in order to be processing within the day and the present. Because if y'all not thinking about that, see, the fire signs deal with the future, the water signs deal with the past, the earth signs deal with the present, the air signs deals with all three. They're in the abstract world. They're in the past, present, and the future. It's just that they can understand it enough to communicate it right. You know what I'm saying? So if a fire sign don't even like to talk to people who talk about the past all the time. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Mercury and Sagittarius people, they may come across as loud. They may have like a loud kind of laugh. You know what I'm saying? They like to enjoy themselves, and they like to communicate with others, but about things that they can do, not the excuses that they can't, why they can't do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's that's Sagittarius, Mercury's in a nutshell. But they sometimes you may be talking, if you're talking to a person and it's hard for you to understand where they're trying to get at, 9 times out of 10, this is a Mercury in Pisces or a Mercury in Sagittarius. But you can always count on them to have a meaning or a purpose to what they're talking about though. You know what I'm saying? So if you into the same thing that they're into, y'all gonna be best friends. But if y'all not, they're gonna come across as kind of outcasty to you, but you're gonna like being around them just for that, just for the sake, just for the laugh, just for the good time. You know what I'm saying? So that's Mercury and Sagittarius. Flight boss, bitch, you know, for sure.